Comparison is the thief of joy. Now, I'd love to say I had come up with that quote, but it wasn't me. It was Mark Bernardin, who is a well-known Hollywood writer and who does a regular slot on one of Kevin Smith's podcasts. And it was a gem of a piece of advice because it was so true. You know, if you imagine somebody who has written 2 Kindle books and feels really accomplished for it and feels really positive about their achievements, if they look at somebody who has written 10 books, of course they are going to feel disappointed in their efforts and their lack of results or whatever it is, but they're going to look down on themselves. But if you get to that stage, if you've written maybe 10 books, you're always going to find somebody who's written 20 books. Or if you've written 50 books, there's always going to be somebody out there ahead of you who's written 100 books. So you're always going to find someone who is further ahead than you are. And if you keep looking ahead from where you are, you're always going to be disappointed. I'd imagine if you were a millionaire and you're looking ahead to somebody like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or somebody like that who is, you know, blasting rockets into space or, you know, has more money than you have at the moment, if you keep kind of sizing yourself up against that type of person, you're always going to come short. So, as Mark said, the worst thing you can do is compare yourself to others because it's going to rob the joy, it's going to rob the achievement, it's going to rob any good feelings you have about what you've accomplished because compared to other people, you know, you aren't as good. So that's what I want you to think about today. Rather than thinking about, you know, how far everybody else is ahead of you, how many, you know, books your competing writers have written, how many blog posts maybe this popular blog has that you don't have, you know, or how many courses somebody has created, or how many YouTube videos, or how many podcasts somebody else has created. Rather than looking outside and looking for, you know, comparing yourself to those other people, why not look at you and how far you've come? I'm sure if you've been doing your work regularly, I'm sure if you look back to where you are 12 months ago, you are a completely different person. You've probably taken on jobs you didn't think you were able to do. You've probably finished books that maybe you were halfway through and didn't know how they could finish. You've probably come up with great blog article ideas or great training courses or something like that. But from where you were 12 months ago or even 2 years ago, you're probably in a completely different position than you are now. Now, even in my own case, if I go back probably 15 years ago, I was stacking shelves. So for me to be in something like I'm doing now, recording these videos every day, showing up regularly, having the confidence, even though I mightn't have the talent yet, but having the confidence to show up on video or do a podcast episode right now, from where I was 15 years ago, that would seem like an absolute, you know, it was a fantasy. I would never achieve that. I used to listen to podcasts all the time. I used to, you know, long to have a podcast of my own or to speak to an audience, but I never had the confidence. So if I could have picked myself up from where I was back then to where I am now, that person back then will be totally surprised with how far I've come and how much I have achieved and how much I've grown since that. So if you find maybe that you know, you're a bit depressed for where you are right now, or everybody else seems to be getting better results than you, it's probably because you are using the comparison rule against yourself, and it's robbing you of the joy or the feeling of accomplishment or whatever it is that you are going through. So rather than do that, rather than focusing on what other people are doing or other people have achieved, look at what you have achieved. How far have you come in the past couple of months? Even if you've only started a couple of weeks, I'd imagine even in a couple of weeks, if you have been working on your craft or trying to get better at how you are or the content that you're creating, I'm sure you've even taken small steps to the type of person that you are. Even the fact maybe that you've hit publish on a Kindle book and release it out into the Amazon store, that is a huge accomplishment. Not many people will actually do that. You'll have a lot of people who will write for years and years and they will have a book on a hard drive and never ever release it because a feeling of, you know, lack of confidence. They will feel that everybody is going to tear the book apart and they will sit on that book and never release it. So the fact that you have probably hit publish either on a blog post or a Kindle book or something like that, the fact that you've actually put that out in public is a huge accomplishment and something that you should be so proud of. So instead of looking at what everybody else is doing, have a look at how far you've come from where you've started. How much have you improved? How much have you created? How much have you got out of your comfort zone? And, pay attention to that. And again, in another 6 months from now, you may be disappointed with where you are right now, but I imagine in another 6 months from now, if you keep continuing along, taking good positive actions and trying to get out of your comfort zone as much as possible, you will be in a far different place than you are right now. So keep that in mind this week. If you are feeling a little bit down on yourself, if everybody else seems to be doing a lot better than you, stop comparing yourself to everybody else, because as Mark said, it is the thief of joy, and you're always going to find someone who is always faster, bigger, better, wealthier. You're always going to find those people ahead of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So instead of comparing yourself to all those people, look back to where you were 6 months ago, a year ago, or in my case even 15 years ago when I was shelf stacking. You've come a long way, baby, since then. So keep that in mind and stop being so hard on yourself. Now, if you'd like to know more about me, or you'd like to know where all these videos and podcast episodes are, if you do a Google search for Writecom, that's WRITECOME.com, you'll find all the good stuff all over the web. And if you go to the blog or the site right now, you can pick up a fantastic report which is called Words to Wealth, and in it I'm going to show you 10 ways anybody can make money from the keyboard. Now you're probably thinking, well, if I'm going to make money from my keyboard, I need to be a good writer, and I'm here to tell you that you don't. In some cases you can actually write a handful of words, and you can make a pretty good income from only writing a handful of words. So if that intrigues you, or you'd like to put that report to the test, again, come over to Writecom, that's WRITECOME.com, pick up the report, give it a go, and let me know what you think. So, as always, thanks for sharing your time with me again today. Take care and have a great day. Bye bye.